we're talking about immigration today, and in Rebecca, we read in Scripture that God did not want the Canaanites to continue to live among the people of Israel because their culture was different, and He thought it would conflict with the laws of God and corrupt them. So, should we be concerned with immigration? We talked a little bit about it before, but with immigration affecting our Christian culture in America today?
Well, I think it has affected our culture. I don't know if it's affected the Christian culture because I gave you the statistic about the 74% coming in who are Christian.
Which is amazing.
That is an amazing statistic. And I see that reflected in my own church, you come out of the doors from the service and you're just surrounded by just such multicultural, it's a blessing to see. It's exciting to see because that's what heaven's going to look like.
That's right.
And you think about too, Jesus was a refugee. Jesus really was an immigrant. The angel came and told Joseph and said, take your son and your wife, your pregnant wife, and flee to Egypt. Well, that word flee actually means, it comes from the word refugee. So isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
So I think that, all throughout the Bible there are examples of this, but there has to be that balance. And we also have to balance it and temper it with obey the law of the land.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, and that goes back to what we talked about before, just having those rules set in place so that we so we know what we're supposed to obey and what we're supposed to adhere to have those laws in place. And I think
everything we have technically has a process to it. I mean, as we go through school, we don't just go through every grade. We take tests. We do things that determine whether we're ready to move on to the next level. And it should kind of be the same for immigration. Are you meeting the criteria?
I do think we do have to bear in mind that there is some concern that needs to be kept in mind, especially when it comes to government and passing of legislation and laws that allow another religion that came into our country that it will get more rights, so to speak, than what we were founded on our Christian principles. And when I'm told I can't pray in the workplace, because I'm a Christian, but yet, if I have someone from another culture, I have to make time and space for them to be able to go pray, then that's where, the concern has to be raised, and that I don't have an issue with people praying to whoever they believe in, but don't hinder me. And I think we have to take a proactive approach that while we're protecting other people's Christian rights or religious rights, we have to make sure we protect our own.
That our own are being protected. I know in my neighborhood it's very multicultural, and I know Rebecca's statistic says that 75% are Christians. Well, that is just not the case in my neighborhood. They're like Turkish and Muslim, and they are the children very much know the laws and of their religion, and it's interesting to me to watch the dynamics because I have dogs and the children always end up in my yard, and so the Turkish will be like, I can't touch the dog, but I really want to. And and so but my point is they seem to adhere to their quote unquote laws so much more than the Christians, and I see the change, the shift. It's not like these children get, I'm in a Christian country. It's that I'm in a country and I'm telling you what my rules are.
And I think that goes back
to I see. I don't think it's right.
It's not right. And I think that goes back to an episode we had before. We need to be bold in our faith, and we can't be our own worst censors by keeping our mouths quiet in our faith when we're among other people with different beliefs. We still need to be able to
be as verbal as they are. That's the thing.
And
we
not be in fear.
For some reason.
Christians need to be bold and forward.
I think we've been beaten over the head with the word tolerance. We've got to be tolerant. Everybody's got to be tolerant of everybody's beliefs, and we've been so ultra tolerant as Christians, trying to be kind and trying to be meek and gentle, that we have allowed people to take over.
Yes, we really have.
And Jesus went in the tables and knocked them over. I mean, we can be bold.
It wasn't that tolerant thing.
That's right.
But see, that's when it comes to the point of the fact that we're being censored again from within. Because the reality of the situation is when you approach life and the laws and everything from Jesus' perspective, you become an offense to people that are even within your own church. And so the issue is that we have thought that love means let everything go. We have taught it so incorrectly that now our backs are to the wall. And so the reality is that now we're finding ourselves having to actually be like the Jesus in the Bible, and we're looking as if because we're trying to be that for the first time, and it makes us look bad.
Right.
But
Well,
the reality is that's when you're right.
Love
trying to play
wouldn't be
catch up.
Yeah, and love wouldn't be me going into another country expecting just to fly under the radar and everybody else pay for the roads, everybody else pay for the
Right.
schools, everybody else pay for the, my welfare. That's not love.
Right.
Let's flip that, like what you said earlier. We have to think about the impact that, and we're talking about illegal immigration
Right,
again,
right,
what
right.
that is having on those of us that are paying taxes.
Right. For a statistic, to support a criminal immigrant in our judicial system, it's the impact is over $1.8 billion a year. So, that's really something to think about because we're paying for that. We that work are paying for that. And
Well,
that's a huge impact.
huge.
Again, I have a tendency because I understand my immigration as far as coming from Haiti. My family was under the Duvalier regime. And so in coming here, you're talking about leaving persecution, leaving or running away from the death camp kind of mindset.
Wow.
So it goes beyond just saying everyone who's illegal is a criminal.
Right.
Oh, no.
Sometimes we have to deal with, but I'm not saying that that's what you're saying. I'm saying that's kind of like pervasive in the perspective. We're allowing that to be what people are, but the reality that sometimes you are actually running from what is evil. And so we have to, again, begin to rightly divide, look at each thing on its own, and be able to, as a government and as a Christian people, know how the duality of law and also love and grace, because the love and grace has to come from the church, even though the law has to be a stickler.
But as a church, then we have to get back to being the church.
Right.
And I think, when we talk about how Trudy was saying how those people are so true to their values, but when the Christian realm, the first thing we make these blanket statements, sweeping generalizations that somebody else is going to come in and put us at risk of being a Christian, but we don't take into consideration our own apathetic behavior that's causing a lot of our problems. We want to make everybody a terrorist, the Bin Ladens and all those people, but what about been sleeping? Been gossiping.
There you go. Been sleeping and been lying.
Doing all this other stuff, and we're putting Christianity at more of a risk than anybody else that's coming in. Yes.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Right. I think that's going back. We're playing catch up because we've been suppressed, or we've suppressed ourselves, the Christians, that we're trying to play catch up to get up to where the other religions are in our culture.
Yes.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
And we have accepted the lie that, again, being a God of love, he's not a God of justice. Being a God of love, he tolerates everything. And so we've allowed ourselves now to be a relationship with God that allows everything but doesn't back itself up.
Kind of watered down.
Watered down.
Watered down Christians.
To be liked.
Yeah. Yes,
to be
exactly.
liked. Thank you. We'll be right back with more on the Christian View. Welcome back to the Christian View. We've been talking today about immigration, which is a very touchy subject, but I really think that if we stay true to our beliefs and true to our God, then we are going to figure everything out in the end. But the biggest thing is love God and love people with all your heart. Have a great day.